What's up, everybody, and welcome to the new year of Team Chat 2025.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We made it
We
somehow,
did make it.
against
Some way,
all
somehow.
odds.
We're here. One of your hosts, Jared Wilson. My co-host, Rachel Mogan, to my right.
Buongiorno.
We're here to talk about video games, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between. And I believe this is episode 330.
Ooh,
to start
that
off the year
feels
on a nice round number.
Man,
I like that.
Can we do 2 more filler ones so that we can actually start on 333?
Ooh.
And we'll just like back post them and pretend like
would
they
be
were
a fun.
released in December, even though they weren't.
We're talking about our most anticipated games in 2025, games that haven't even come out yet, but
Yeah.
they're still in 2024.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. It's no big deal at all. But you get to hear us talk about all those fun games here on Team Chat Podcast each and every week when we release a new episode. And you can listen to those on podcast services around the World Wide Web, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and others. You can also watch a video version of each episode over on our YouTube channel. Links for all that are in the description below. You can also find us on social media at Facebook, Threads, and Instagram, as well as join our Discord server where we have a lot of great conversation when we're not here recording the show. And finally, if you'd like to help make the show bigger and better, just like Allison H, Ark, Brandon W, Bro Mogan, Super Saiyan Ace, Erica L, Elise F, James K, Michael B, Michael S, Snooty Boots, Susan M, and Zach S have done, they have headed over to Team Chat Podcast, patreon.com/Team Chat Podcast, where for as little as $1 a month, they support the show, and in return, we give them cool perks, and you cool perks, such as getting the episodes early before their general weekly release, and access to the private channel on our Discord server, the Rogues Gallery, as well as at the $5 tier, you get special access to a subsidiary show, Team Chit Chat, where we talk about things not related to video games. New episodes of that will be coming out this month. But for each and every one of you who supports the show and supports the show for free by telling your friends, writing us reviews, and listening and subscribing wherever you're listening or watching.
YouTube comments.
All that fun stuff. We appreciate and love each and every single one of our viewers, listeners, and patrons alike. You're rushing me through it there with the hand
Well,
gesture.
I just figured it's the
I'm
annual
gonna say
tradition.
It's the annual. You're rushing me through it. I stuck firm, though, to land it into this new year of content for us, which I am excited to get into.
And only goofed it up a little bit.
Just a little bit
Just
of
a
goofing.
little.
Just a little bit of goofing.
Just the regular
and
amount of
it wouldn't be a
goofing.
Team Chat episode if there wasn't a little bit of goofing off going on. So
There was an episode re-recorded like I think a few weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago now, and after the episode, Jarrett was like, "Man, that was the best intro I've ever done."
yeah.
And I was like, "Really? I wasn't paying attention at all." Oops.
sometimes they're winners, sometimes they're somewhere in between. But you know, they're kind of like the games you talk about. Sometimes I hate them, sometimes I love them.
You know, you probably
and
do
sometimes
them-
they land more in between.
You probably do it perfectly when I'm spacing out the most.
Yeah, it's when you start rushing me with the hand with the
video.
heart emoji, little hand signal here, where I'm like, oh my god, I got to speed this up, and then I start tripping
boy.
over my words.
Hilarious.
But before we get into the main topic of the day, let's get a little bit of news and what's coming out soon in our moment with Mogan.
Yes, we didn't miss much at the tail end of December. Not a lot was coming out at the very end of the year, which is good moves on marketing teams all around. But in January 2025, we're doing a little bit of catch-up real quick. So Wuthering Waves and Wuthering Waves 2.0, Wuthering Waves is now out for PS5 and PC. Freedom Wars Remastered is now out for Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD
I'm so
is
excited
coming
for that.
out for the Switch on January 16th. You've got just as of this
few
episode's
days.
air date, just a few days until that comes out. And then coming shortly after that on January 17th, we've got Tales of Grace F Remastered for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and Switch. Everything except Android and iOS. Dynasty Warriors Origins is coming out on the 17th as well for PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. And then closing out, or more like rounding out, the beginning part of the end of the month, which is a very confusing way to phrase that sentence. Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist is coming to Switch and PC on January 22nd. Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles
I'm excited for
is
that,
coming
too.
to First of all, okay, quick aside, I'm just looking at the syntax of the title. If your game title has to have 2 separate instances of the colon,
It's
something
a lot.
has gone
The
wrong.
name is a little
The
long.
name is a little much. That's coming up for Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on January 23rd, along with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for PC.
Very cool.
And then we'll talk about all the other stuff coming out at the end of the month on a future episode.
That is good to hear all that great stuff. And I mean, already seeing some Donkey Kong coming out there, some Star Wars representation
I thought you'd be
already so
excited
early
about
in the year.
the
I'm
DK
loving
game.
it. But that is a good transition then, because it is our first episode of the year. And normally in the past, whenever we've done our first episode of the year, we always talk about the games that we are most excited about coming out in the new year. This year is a little bit of a special case because we do feel that we've talked about them and made those choices a little bit more known, and with some of the bigger announcements coming out, such as Civ 7, Monster Hunter Wilds, and different stuff like that. So we're not going to focus on those today. That's not the main topic of the show. That's still coming a little bit later, where we are going to talk about and give our review of the super fun superhero hero shooter
Super Saiyan Ace.
Marvel rifles.
Marvel.
So, before we get into that, we did want to really quick read off a quick list of what some of our 2 to 3 most anticipated games of the year are going to be. Go ahead.
Assuming it actually comes out, which I'm not confident about, Metroid Prime 4.
Ooh.
That's like number 1 on my list.
And they have said the 2025.
They said 2025. Now, whether or not that actually happens, I am dubious.
Because that was announced in I want to say some kind of a showcase or something that I missed.
Yeah,
was it Game Awards?
It was
like
one
the beginning of the Game Awards.
Maybe it was the Game Awards. Like the very first teaser, not even trailer for it, came out. I think at the tail end of either the Game Awards or maybe Summer Games Fest. It was one of the two. Maybe a year or 2 years ago by now. Time doesn't mean anything anymore, so I'm not sure about that. But the point is, it's been rumored for a long, long time. Confirmed for a slightly shorter but still long amount of time. Whether or not it actually comes out this year, if it does, huzzah, drinks all around. If it doesn't, well, it'll probably come out in 2026.
Very nice. One of mine that I am anticipating, we actually talked about 2, really. I am excited about Donkey Kong, but I am very excited about Jedi Power Battles, because that is going to be a port remaster of the old PlayStation 1 game that came out way back when.
Wow.
And it's one of those Star Wars games that, because I didn't own a console at the time, only got brief exposure to at friends' houses, but was still super, super fun, because you get to be like quite a selection, I think, of Jedi. I believe you get to be Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Plo Koon, and then I believe even Darth Maul.
They had
Adi
Mace
Gallia.
Windu back then, right? I don't think they did. If it was PS1, it probably
I think
predated.
Probably did. No, because I think
Are you PS1?
I think Mace Windu is on the cover.
Are you so
but watch
sure?
Watch this foreshadowing and foreplanning that I had. Didn't even know. It wasn't even a thought, but it worked out well for myself. As Jarrett, circa 2-ish years ago, browsing a half-price books.
Ooh, okay. The Mace Windu autobiography, written and narrated by Samuel L. Jackson?
No, I just thought it would be a super fun collectible to have the Prima official guide for Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles.
That's awesome!
And
Wait,
now
let me see this.
It's going to be super useful and timely.
Oh my god, it's going to be so useful. That rules.
Oh, look, a poster. Pull a poster.
There's a poster. Pull it out of there.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to do it right now. But still. So yeah, there we go. Mace
Jared,
Windu on the cover.
You're sitting on a gold mine. Who
Right?
Oh, he is on the cover.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's all. Oh wait, on
Are
the back
you
it shows
sure
the.
it wasn't PS2?
No, it's PS1.
Really?
So it's got Plo Koon, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mace Windu, Qui-Gon Jinn, Adi Gallia, and I believe Darth Maul is unlockable
his eyes.
because you can see
Yep.
his eyes there. But it's also very fun. A little bit of Star Wars knowledge. In this game, Plo Koon has a yellow lightsaber, but in the movies, he has blue.
Huh.
Anyway.
Interesting.
So, Jedi Power Battles. Super excited about that one. Be looking forward. My plan is right now. It comes out January 23rd. There's probably going to be a stream of me playing it. It's already pre-ordered. It's ready to go.
You're going to have to figure
Just
out
wait
how
in
much
16 days.
that Prima official guide is worth on eBay now, because I feel like its stock has to be going up,
yeah,
right?
it was like maybe $5 from half-price books, but still, it was a steal.
believe
It was a
you found
steal.
that at
And then I was organizing my
half-price
closet and stuff
books.
this last week and was like, oh, hell yeah, this is going to be perfect. So, Jedi Power Battles. Very excited
when
about.
you stream it, we should maybe do a stream night of it, and I'll be the backseat driver, and I'll have the official guide, and I'll walk you through it.
Pretty sure it's co-op.
That's bad news for me. I don't wanna play the
Look what you
stupid
just
Star
signed yourself
Wars
up for.
Damn it.
Yes!
Dang it. Damn.
All right. So, what's another one of your anticipated games
Well,
coming
this
out?
is for both of us, I think. There's no hard release date yet, but again, this is another one that's slated for 2025. I feel more confident that this game will come out because we've seen a lot more trailers about it,
Yep.
spaced out over what would be considered a normal amount of marketing time, south of midnight.
That game looks so good.
I am so hyped for that game. I think it looks so fun and interesting. I love the setting. I love the story they seem to be cooking with, and it just looks like a good old-fashioned regular video game with really cool characters and fun stuff to explore.
Yeah, the stop motion look of it looks
Oh,
great.
it looks
or claymation
great.
almost look
Yeah,
of
I
it
think
looks
claymation
great.
Is probably
Oh my
more
god.
correct.
It looks really, really cool.
Anything that takes place in a bayou in a video game
Riding
is
on the
gonna
back
be
of a
good
giant
time.
catfish.
So fun. So, giant catfish.
It's gonna be awesome.
And then there's a big old gator running around
Hell yeah.
out there.
It looks like it's going to be a good time. And I want to say, even the gameplay looks claymation, which is an impressive feat. And I know that some people were like somewhat complaining about that, and they've said that you can turn it off in either the gameplay or cutscenes, one of the two, I remember. But still, I'll be rolling with that the whole way through because that looks super cool.
It looks awesome.
Another one that I'm excited about that I think, again, overlaps for both of us, Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah.
I think that will be a fantastically fun game. Give us another great co-op game to go after. And, just something else to grind it out for the year, which is great that it comes out so early. It's like March, late February.
It's coming out.
It's pretty soon.
It's Q1. It's coming out soon. And I feel like I'm really not ready. Jared and I are both currently working on our Dragon Age Veilguard playthroughs
which
right
is going to
now.
be a beefy game.
I'm making quite a bit more progress. Initially, Jared was ahead of me, but now I've caught up and surpassed him because I'm really into it now.
Do you remember what chapter number you are on?
I don't remember the chapter number. I'm at least 2 to 3
ahead of me.
Significant plot points ahead of you.
Oh man, so you really, what's your total playtime, do you know?
About 25-ish hours.
Oh, okay, so you're like 10 hours ahead of me then.
Oh yeah,
okay,
you gotta catch up. Bro.
So I gotta catch up, shit.
You still don't have the full roster.
No.
I've unlocked the full roster. I've got all the husbandos and waifus, and now the most difficult part of the game is picking which one to truly romance.
Oh, I'm already dropping my seeds of romance all around.
I've ruled out a few that I'm like, I think we're better off colleagues and friends. They've been colleague zoned, but everybody else is like, oh God, they're all really good. So it's actually really tough. But my point being, I gotta finish Veilguard before Wilds comes out because otherwise I feel like I'm never gonna finish Veilguard. So I probably will. It's much better than Inquisition, but yeah.
Isn't it?
Oh, it's so
good. Oh my God.
We'll talk about that.
That's another
review.
episode.
Yeah.
I want to get a little bit more time into it because I didn't get as much into the break as I thought I would and would have a bit more time to devote to it. So I want to catch up a little bit before we do our full review or first impressions and stuff of it on that. But that will be coming in the next few weeks. Yeah. But that does give a fun little, oh wait, sorry, we're not done with this yet. What's another one of yours?
I actually don't think Wilds, Metroid Prime 4, and
the
South of
ever-loving
Midnight.
hope and cling to hope that Silk Song becomes a reality.
No, I do not have that hope in my heart. And now that I also know that Haunted Chocolatier is probably still years away, it's never mind. I'll just sit back and relax. The one other game that was at the Game Awards that we both thought looked really cool, but I'm blanking on the name. It's the co-op game.
Split Fiction.
Split Fiction.
That one
I
does
am
look
actually
sweet.
pretty
That
excited
does look a
about
lot of
that. I
fun.
feel like that's going to be a really fun game for you and me to play. So I have modestly high hopes that it'll be good and we'll have a fun time with it.
Then my last one, I think, for the year that I'm most anticipated for comes out in about a month. Civ 7. Oh my God. Civilization 7. I can't wait. Originally, it was one that I was kind of wanting to not pay as much attention to stuff as they release things so I could learn it as I played it. But then I realized Civ is an incredibly complex game. Having as much knowledge and kind of forethought into how this game is going to work is going to be for the best. So I've been soaking up those videos, watching how the different victory conditions work, all this other stuff to get ready and prep for it. And I am just excited. And it comes out so early in the year, February, I think 13th, I believe, 11th or 13th. And that's just going to be what I'm playing. Get ready for an insane amount of hours.
My
of Civ
brother
7.
and Christopher, that means you have approximately
Christopher.
that means you have approximately 1 month to finish Veilguard. You gotta get through it.
I do. And there's going to be Jedi Power Battles to play in that time too. So yeah, I'm about to be busy with the gaming.
Just one quick note about Veilguard. I feel like you are on the cusp of getting to the really good story stuff.
Ooh,
so if you're not feeling fully invested quite yet, I think you're really
so
close
far
to
I am. I'm really bought into it. Mostly, I mean, the story has been good and really fun of what I've played so far, but the gameplay, combat mechanics are so much better than Inquisition. Worlds better.
Yeah.
And so just that alone and getting to play with the different styles of doing that has been so much fun.
They yassified Solus, so he's even harder.
They yassified everybody.
That's
what I told Mogan before this game. I had started and I played the first couple hours, met the first few of your companions, party companions, stuff like that. And I messaged her and was like, oh no, everybody's hot in this game. They're all so hot.
I mean, part of it is the previous game is 10 years old now, so of course everybody wasn't as hot.
Yeah, but Morrigan, Liliana, always
yeah.
hot. Varric, always hot. But this game, everybody's
they
hot.
really turned it up to 11, and it's just so funny to see because we played Inquisition so recently that like it's such whiplash to the new game. It's crazy.
Really is. So we'll be waiting for those with bated breath, but until then,
I'll be waiting for Silk Song forever
for 84 years.
Yeah, really, 84.
In reality,
I'm gonna have to dive down to the bottom of the ocean where Rose dropped the Hope Diamond, and I'll have to get it off the ocean floor.
Oh man! But when we haven't been playing Dragon Age Veilguard, we have been spending a lot of time in another game that has quickly swept up our fancy, and I don't think we expected it to.
No.
Marvel Rivals.
That's what we're talking about
So
today.
that's what we're going to be talking about today, giving our review of this recently released hero shooter, 6v6 hero shooter that features a lot of the characters that you know and love from the Marvel comics.
It's really funny that you say know and love, because as someone that does not care at all about Marvel, I really only know the characters from the movies,
yeah.
And not even the newer movies, like the older movies when people actually still kind of cared about that stuff. So I'm like, yes, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, got it.
Yep.
And then it's like, oh yeah, here's Cloak and Dagger, and I'm like, who's that?
If we want to, I have the full list of heroes that we could go through. But still, before we jump into that, it is kind of just like I think what initially brought it to us is that we got you more so than me, jumped heavily into Valorant last year.
Yes.
And it's been something we've talked about on the show too, that I think really since Overwatch 2 came out and we were kind of disappointed with how it rolled out and everything, our group has been on the hunt for another game to kind of recapture that magic.
Yeah, so Overwatch 2's, just for us, not greatness, left a cavernous hole that our whole extended online gaming friend group has been trying to figure out what's going to go there. Unfortunately, I was really the only one tooting the Valorant horn, so I couldn't get buy-in for that. But then the Overwatch 2 event happened where they briefly brought back Overwatch Classic.
What a breath of fresh air that was.
Reignited everyone's love for Overwatch Classic, but of course the event ended. It was only about a 2 to 3 week event, so after that ended, it's like, okay, well now what? Well, the now what was actually very conveniently filled by Marvel Rivals.
2 weeks later or a week after that event?
Which is, I don't want to reduce it down too much, but honestly, it's kind of just Overwatch.
And kind of just classic Overwatch, even.
It really is. It's it's Overwatch 1.0.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. I mean, for every character in Marvel Rivals, not all of them, but for many of them, we don't even use their in-game names. It's okay, Widowmaker back yonder, and it's Black Widow.
Well, it's Black Widow. It's literally there are two widows
Black
in this game.
Widow. So it's just so funny.
Yeah, and so I think it had even been one that we had talked about in her, in news and when announcements and stuff were coming up about it. And we were just kind of honestly, we were just oh, okay, another Marvel
so
thing.
Mad about it.
Sure. People who like Marvel will enjoy that.
I am
have
certain
to say,
I made offhand comments about probably bad because historically speaking, recent Marvel titles have not been great.
Well, and just because too, for me personally, outside of gaming, I kind of have a little bit of Marvel fatigue with the movies and shows. I really fell off within the last couple of years of keeping up to date with those. And so I honestly was not expecting myself to put a whole lot of time into this, but we tried it out and we were incredibly pleasantly surprised by how fun this game is.
It's good.
So, like we said, it's a hero shooter. So it is two teams of 6 heroes going at it. And those can be a mix of any characters, can't be duplicates. Well, on the same team can't be duplicates. There can be duplicates on the opposing teams. But you each pick a character, a unique character, and those can fill different roles. The Vanguard, Duelist, and what do they call tank? What do they call a tank? Or is that
tank is
Vanguard?
Yeah.
It's a tank.
I think they just call them
Duelist.
Support, right?
And then Strategist. That's what it is. Those are the 3. So Strategist is healer, your support characters. The Duelists are DPSs, and then Vanguards are your tanks. And it's just, you compose your teams. You play through game modes of either capture a point, domination, escort missions. And
that's called the payload for you Overwatchers out there.
And then there's another game map mode too as well that I'm blanking on. Oh, there is a whole other mode, Conquest mode, that's outside of the quick play team deathmatch stuff, or not team deathmatch, but the quick play modes that are out there. And of course, there's ranked. Yes. So lots of different modes to take out and go through. But we will tell you now, we'll read through the different heroes here. So I'll take the top row, and then we'll just switch off rows.
You can't filter them by like vanguards?
Not from this over big list, but okay. So here's who we got that you can be playing in Marvel Rivals. We got Adam Warlock, Black Panther, Black Widow, Captain America, Cloak and Dagger, Doctor Strange, Groot. Then we got Hawkeye.
Oh, wait, it's my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn. I was going to fill the space.
Sorry, I was thinking about other stuff. We've got Hawkeye, Hela, Hulk, Iron Fist, Iron Man, the best character in the game, Jeff the Land Shark, and Loki.
Luna Snow, Magic, Magneto, Mantis, Moon Knight, Namor, Penny Parker.
Psylocke, Rocket Raccoon, Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man, Squirrel Girl, Star-Lord, and Storm.
And then rounding us out with the Punisher, Thor, Venom, Winter Soldier, and Wolverine.
I hate that it's not an even amount for the current size of the web page. It's like, I'm sure it's just a UI thing, but it's like, oh, I hate it.
But yeah, there are a lot of these characters, like we said, the standards. There is, Black Panther, Black Widow, Captain America, Hulk, Iron Man, all that stuff. But then there are a lot of the characters that I have very little.
I'm amazed that Namor made it
honestly
to the
same
roster.
Because my only exposure to Namor is Wakanda too.
Yeah.
So and I thought cool hero in that one. Anti-villain or anti-hero, whatever in that one. But still, I was kind of surprised by his inclusion. Magic, I have no idea who Magic.
No, I've never heard of Magic in my life.
I didn't know who Jeff the Land Shark is, but he's my favorite.
He's the best. Jeff is so cute.
But yeah, so it is funny though, because it's like without even trying. Back in Overwatch, my main was Genji, and without even trying, the first match I played, I picked Moon Knight, who's basically the Genji,
just Genji.
of Marvel Rivals. He he throws out 3 of little boomerang dart things, shuriken things. He can ricochet off of either enemies, through enemies, or these throwable anks that he has. And so he just plays, he has a double jump, he can glide. He just has a lot of the same feel as Genji.
Yeah.
And recently, I was playing yesterday, a little warm up again before we did this episode and everything. I got a 20 kill streak. Not a kill streak, sorry. Just 20 kills in a game. And I was like, hot damn, I was on fire. I was throwing those anks everywhere and just used my ults and everything. It was
nice
so
work.
good.
Personally, I'm a fan of Mantis because one of the really nice things about Marvel Rivals that I think a lot of people will pick up on when you're first starting out, at least none of this applies to ranked, which I have not even remotely touched. So just take that with a grain of salt.
I haven't done that either.
But just casually with friends in online mode, I have been a big fan of many of the different support characters because in a lot of games, there's the old adage, nobody wants to play support because you feel like you can't get kills.
Right.
All you're doing is going out there and dying because your tanks and your DPS leave you all alone and you don't have enough firepower to protect yourself. There are a lot of characters in this game that I feel like really help break that mold. Personally, I really like Mantis. She's Zenyatta, basically just Zenyatta. Luna Snow is Lucio, for lack of a better word. And actually, I'm not good at him yet. I don't seem to be able to maximize him the way I see other people do when they destroy me with him. But Loki's really fun. And
he is hard if you play against a good Loki.
Yeah, and then I've recently realized that Adam Warlock, depending on your team composition and the region of the map that you're on, he can be really good. Mm-hmm. So it's been really interesting to sort of meet this whole new cast of characters and get to know their wildly different kits because everyone has a very different setup. And
it is hard to not bring that Overwatch history into it. Yeah. And so when there are the crossovers of abilities and stuff, it's nice because it is kind of I know how this works. I understand this mechanic. And so it's kind of fun, but it's fun to see it presented in a new way.
And a great example of that, we're kind of jokingly saying it's just Overwatch, which is really not true because there are a lot of things about it that do differentiate it. And just from that perspective of, leave some of that past knowledge behind you, I would point to the example of Penny Parker because I feel like every time I play against her, I'm like, what does this character do? I don't understand what's happening because she throws out these webs that coat the ground, but I can't quite figure out what they're doing.
I've walked over them and I've been on the enemy team and it doesn't do anything to me, but sometimes she'll shoot a web and it grabs me.
And it's I just don't know what that character does. She scares me. And whenever she ults, I'm like, what is she doing out there just running around in circles?
Yeah, it's she has. I've played a couple rounds of Penny Parker and I have not been able to figure
I
her out
don't
yet.
get it.
No, the one for me that if I ever see one coming, yes, I agree. Loki, terrible. Like especially when he does the thing where he like mirrors himself and creates
the clones.
Oh man, it's hard to tell like who's the real one because I've played against some who just will stand perfectly still like the clones do and just act
so
like a clone.
smart.
It's interesting to see.
That's a fun idea.
But the one who I absolutely hate if I see this person coming at me is Iron Fist.
Oh my God. So in game, I've never encountered Iron Fist in media, and I don't really know who I would call him from Overwatch, so we just call him Punch Boy. It's like Punch Boy's in us.
Punching and kicking. I did play a couple rounds with him.
Punching and kicking.
And you can't beat him. If he gets in and closes that distance, you're done.
You're just done for.
His ult is ridiculous too. He can even like block damage. He uses he has like a shield ability and everything too a little bit. He is a ridiculous character.
Especially if you're in the back line and the rest of your team doesn't turn around, Iron Fist will just wreck your entire shop. It feels so bad.
It does. As Moon Knight, I have been beat down by an Iron Fist so many times.
Oh, it feels bad.
But then I also, it's fun too. Another one that you kind of see those Overwatch influences, Squirrel Girl, is kind of like Junkrat in the sense that she throws like the explosive acorns, I guess.
Yeah.
But her ult is hilarious. The Squirrel Stampede. It's just a flood of squirrels takes over the whole map for a little bit. It's ridiculous.
It's very funny.
But yeah, I just love the different. I love how quickly we did jump to it because I think of that familiarity with the games, the gameplay and the styles and everything. And it's just refreshing to have a game like this too that comes out, has had like you can find a game in 2 seconds. Like it takes like cross-platform, it does not matter.
No,
you can
it is
find a game as soon as
fast.
you hit the button.
Yeah.
Which is a great relief from like Cody Steve Boots and I have been playing X Defiant, and sadly it's going to be shuttered later this year. But like we would go there and just me and him in there, and it would take 5-10 minutes.
Oh my God, really?
Maybe find a match, and that's just low player count. And obviously, a Marvel game, I think, is going to have an immediate day one bump over just about anything else.
Yeah.
But still, it's just like that's so nice. Just be able to go in and get out. I like kind of the new, the newness of it, where it is kind of that Overwatch day one feel, where everybody is figuring out the like ridiculous combos. You just get flooded with a whole team of duelists, just like running over, and you're like, this shouldn't work, but it does, and all this other stuff. I was just figuring out the balances of the game. And I feel like that's in a place, it's that early place with all these online games before everybody just becomes gods at it. You know what I mean?
So
you still feel like you have a chance.
Yeah. So speaking of new things that obviously weren't in Overwatch that I feel like are really interesting and unique to Marvel Rivals is actually like the team up system.
Yes.
So whenever you're joining a lobby and you've got you and your 5 other teammates, there could be either a natural synergy or like a special event synergy between a character and 1 to 2 other characters. For example, one of the recent events like gave extra health and or extra damage to Hela, Thor, and Loki. Like if you had one or more of them on your team, you got these extra bonuses.
Oh, that makes sense because they're all siblings, I guess.
So I think if you had Thor on your team and you were Hela, you got a 20% damage bonus.
Oh,
which is crazy.
And Hela does she's kind of like, for the Overwatch people, she's kind of the Cassidy character. Her and Winter Soldier are kind of like a little bit of a combo of Cassidy, but still like very precise shots.
Yes.
They do a lot of damage when they hit. Yeah. So it's like, man, if you're getting an additional 20% on top of that, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. And then for Thor, I think he got bonus health, and I think he got like a special, like sometimes you get a special ability.
Yeah.
Like there'll just be a whole new thing on your little button map thing that you have to be like, oh, okay, what does this do?
Yeah, that happens with Moon Knight and Cloak and Dagger. When they combo together, I've never played Cloak and Dagger yet, but they give Moon Knight the ability to drop a smoke bomb, kind of like one of the smoke orbs in Valorant a little bit.
Oh, okay,
and you're invisible inside it.
Huh.
And so even if people come inside it to try to fight you, you're still invisible.
Oh, that rules.
I think is for a little bit of time.
That is not how it works in Valorant.
So
if people
I
come
played...
into the smoke, you're dead.
And so I was playing all these things as Moon Knight, or the very first round that I played as Moon Knight, there was a Cloak and Dagger, so I had that ability. And then the next ones there weren't, and I didn't notice they had a special teammate. And I was like, wait, Moon Knight could go invisible. Why can't he go invisible again? And then finally I paired back up with a Cloak and Dagger and was like, I'm done.
And the great thing about it is that the character select screen will tell you this information. So it's not like random guesswork. It'll actually show you, oh, these are like the synergies you've got right now.
And you can even it has the option to request team ups. Yeah. So like saying you're wanting to be like Venom, you want to have a Peter Parker, a Spider-Man team up. You can request that another one of your teammates fill that role.
Yep.
Another thing so far that's different from Marvel Rivals as opposed to Overwatch is it doesn't have a role queue yet. Yes. There is talk or rumors of one potentially being added.
Don't.
I was going to ask, what do you feel about that?
No, I really hope they don't, because at least in my experience online playing, I mean, most teams that I've been on naturally have a good mix of characters.
Yeah.
I really haven't run into many games at all where it's just DPS or just tanks or just supports. Not that that would ever happen, but I feel like it's been really even. More often than not, I feel like you have 2 tanks, 2 DPS, and 2 supports than like any other combination. Maybe 1 tank, 4 DPS, and 2 supports, but that's still a really good mix. So.
Yeah, I've never really felt like, and I like that there's not the role queue too, because then it also does allow for the greatest flexibility in like team comp during the match, because just like Overwatch, you can in the spawn area switch to a different hero. And I like not being able to be like, if I was a tank and started as a tank and just for whatever reason tanks were not working out for that game, I'm not stuck to it. I can switch to another role. That's fun too. And that came out into a great play in one of the games I was playing yesterday. It was a escort one, I believe, on the Asgard map. And
with the goats,
the screaming goats, and we were defending. We held the attackers at their spawn for like up till overtime. Wow. And then just in slow bits, they would change their team comp, and they pushed us back. And I believe they did wind up actually winning the game.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
It was an insane comeback on their part, and I give them total credit. But yeah, but it was fun of like me sitting there playing, and I was like, holy shit, we are holding them down. They are not going to get to do anything. This is awesome, a complete shutout. And then they're able to switch their team mechanics up enough to be able to push us out, and we're able to change the momentum. That's so fun. Moments like that, even when you're on the receiving end of them. So fun.
And so as far as role queue goes, I know I will never personally play ranked mode in Marvel Rivals. It's just not going to be that kind of game for me. Yeah. So I from that perspective, I'm ambivalent about whether or not they put role queue in ranked mode. But for casual play, I really hope they never do that.
Same. Because that was one of the things for me. I know you could still enter a I don't care queue for Overwatch. I
don't care queue.
Just put me wherever.
Just put me wherever.
Put me in wherever, coach. But like, it definitely favored to whatever were the more open roles or the less requested ones. So you definitely got hit in the supports roles and stuff like that, or stuck into tank a little bit more.
It also makes it a lot easier to get into games with a big group. Because like when there's 4 or 5 of us all playing, I don't want to be locked into one role, because we can organically just say, oh, Penny Parker's not working out for me right now, I want to switch to Loki. And somebody else can say, oh, great, because I don't really like Mantis right now, I want to be Hela.
Right.
So it opens up the door to more of those movements, and I feel like the game would be worse for it if you weren't able to make those kinds of moves.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying about Overwatch. I felt like once they introduced that was one of those things where I was like, I kind of lost some of the want to play.
It tamps down the fun.
And I was more prone at that point to play the once they did that and brought that into just the casual quick play, I was prone to more play in the arcade team deathmatch modes.
Yeah.
Because I liked that better, because I could be anybody and switch anytime I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And that's, at the end of the day, what I was there to play for. Like, I don't, like, same. I never really got into competitive Overwatch that much either, because I just liked trying out the different characters and just like playing around in a fun shooter sandbox with them all. And so I like having that restriction. It feels like it's an attempt to force composition, and I kind of feel like that's the fun of these games, is having the mystery composition.
Let us do the game bad the way God intended.
Exactly. Don't make us be meta about it. I don't want to do that. Another great thing about this game that I think it does very well, or handles very well, it does have microtransactions. Got to say that.
This is a free-to-play game. I'm not sure if we made that clear.
Oh, we did not make that clear. So thank you for making that point. Yeah, it's a free-to-play game. It's free, which makes it very easy to jump into as well. But to support that, it does have the microtransactions in the case that you could buy currency, and there are also battle passes that you can buy. And, in those battle passes, you can earn currency for future battle passes and stuff like that. And there's also like another in-game that's not a real world currency value. It's like It's you can buy like some special skins and stuff like that
There's
with
like
it.
credits. I will say that from just a quick glance, even though I ultimately agree that the Battle Pass is handled better than most games, I find the mix of currency so confusing.
But that's confusing in every
It's
game.
really
I'm like, why do we need
confusing.
3 different kinds of currency for one game?
It's like,
Please.
this seems like a
Just,
lot.
It's a lot. But the nice thing about the Battle Pass system too, which you can buy a Battle Pass for $5, which is
a very reasonable
nice.
amount.
When we're getting used to Apex being like $10 plus a season for stuff.
The Valorant one was
seeing that,
$10.
Yeah, having a $5 one, hey, that's not too bad. But it also takes a playbook from a Helldivers 2 Battle Pass, which after you buy a Battle Pass, they do not expire. So you can continue throughout gameplay to build up the credits to unlock things in the Battle Pass. That's what it is. You can buy like the blue currency. That's the like real world currency that you use to buy Battle Passes. But then you can earn items. In-game currency, the in-game currency, I believe, is what you use to unlock actual levels within the Battle Pass once you've unlocked it, or like rewards from the Battle Pass. So it's something like that. So, but the main thing is, it's not overly predatory. It's not predatory at all with the type of money that they're asking you to contribute whenever you do want to make a purchase. So far, it feels pretty nice in that regard.
My one sort of gripe about the Battle Pass is, and I mean, I can't really fault them for this, it's how they have to make money off of the game, but I feel like everything in the Battle Pass that isn't a skin just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean,
it's like
that's what
sprays
I'm
and
there
stuff,
for.
and I feel like none of the sprays are even that good, so I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah, I don't like that was the thing about Overwatch loot boxes. I would hate when I get sprays because I'm like, I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to use it. Give me a skin. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
So I hopefully, and it's pretty small too. It's not like a huge list of things that you can get from the Battle Pass. But I mean, it does come with like a pretty like right now it's a pretty sick Adam Warlock skin, a Punisher skin. I want to say Mantis or Luna Snow.
Mantis.
It is
Mantis
Mantis?
has one.
Okay. Yeah. And so like a lot of good stuff there.
Hella's got a really cool one.
That's right. The Hella was like the final
our
one.
fellow gamesman and friend Snooty Boots already bought the Battle Pass.
I did too.
And got that sweet Hella skin, and it looks, dare I say, hella good. Sorry.
Too good of one to pass it up. I don't blame you at all for that
Couldn't leave
one.
the low-hanging fruit there.
So anyway, it's just a lot of great stuff there. And yeah, I did buy the Battle Pass as well because I was also like, oh, the Punisher skin looks pretty cool. The other stuff, and it's like $5. I'm going to play a lot of this game. Let's try it out and see what all it can offer.
I'm sure eventually they'll add on to the Battle Pass, right? Like when they do special events and stuff.
Yeah, there will be like extra skins and stuff. Well, it'll also be interesting to see because I believe today, what is today? The 7th? Yeah, January 7th. They announced that Mr. Fantastic, no, that's not his name. Reed Richards, a Fantastic Four, and I don't
Mrs.
again.
Fantastic.
Yeah, whoever she is, her character, Sue Storm, I believe. If I'm wrong, oh my god.
Hang on, I'm going to look up Mrs. Fantastic.
Let's see, Marvel
They're
Rivals,
married, right?
New characters. Who we got? Because I can't be wrong. Oh yeah, it's the Fantastic Four. Just all of them are gonna be in the first season of Marvel
all 4
Rivals.
of them.
Okay,
Okay.
sweet. So the Thing
Is it going to be the Pedro Pascal version?
I believe. I mean, well, probably not.
What I'm asking is, are they going to have the rights to use his likeness in game? I suspect no.
I suspect from this picture. I mean, it's a bearded Reed Richards, but like not Pedro, which I think is a plus to this game too. Okay,
of
but wait,
course
this
it
is season 1 of Rivals. This is when the new Fantastic Four people will come out, and that starts on January 10th. So only a couple days from now. But what I also like about this game is that it does borrow from and lean into more of the comic appearances and appearances of these characters, not the movies, which I think helps make a good distinction and helps with that Marvel burnout that I've been feeling.
Absolutely.
Honestly, that like I'm not having to be like, okay, I'm playing as Chris Hemsworth for Thor, or and different stuff like that. They all look different. Like the Wolverine design is the one that's probably the most different, I would say, from like what you would expect a Wolverine to look like, but it's still pretty cool in its own way.
You mean classic Wolverine?
Well, he does, but like he's like a way shorter, like has longer hair than he like normally does. But I do like when he actually activates his his one of his big attacks, like his frenzy attack, and his like hair spikes out like into the Wolverine thing. I'm like, it's Heihachi. but anyway, no, it's really cool. I like that because I think it helps be like we're a different thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I kind of like that.
Also, along with that season 1 announcement, they did also include a new game mode called Doom Match, which I assume is going to be deathmatch, but
Yeah,
I can't swear to that.
That would be
It's
fun.
just if it's not death, I think it's like, oh, it's not the payload, it's escort. It's like, okay, Jan, sure, Jan.
It is funny too that they have to have like different like phrases and everything for like that the in-game
copyright.
announcer the
Yeah.
in-game announcer has to say. Like, in Overwatch, it's capture the objective or something like that whenever you do it. But this one is capture the mission point. And for whatever reason, when they say mission point, how they say it almost sounds like mission area. No, mission area is what they say. And it keeps making me think missionary. And then I'm just like, why are we talking about sex positions? But it's
We're talking about people doing the Lord's work.
But anyway, it's just funny how those things have to be different.
That
That's
actually
not,
brings me
not what
to
I
one of
would have
my
expected.
biggest gripes with the game, and this is just the petty one. I hate the announcer's voice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, it's so annoying.
It's not my favorite either.
No, it's the worst. And another thing that I actually really don't like about the game is that there's a couple of different training modes, and I'm not sure if they're going to change this in the future, but one of them is like the basic ass training mode, and it puts you into the game. You're playing for the first time. When you go to training mode, you are playing as the Punisher. That's fine. All right, you get to learn the Punisher's moveset, but then when you go to hero training mode, the full roster isn't available. It's only
weird.
It's only a select few. Like it was just Metal Man.
Magneto?
Oh god, I was gonna say meteorite. Magneto, there was Punisher, there was like, I want to say maybe Scarlet Witch, but it was only like 6 of the total.
That's weird.
People, because I wanted to get in more practice with Namor, but because I didn't really understand a couple of his abilities.
You want to see why he throws out the octopus?
Yeah, exactly. and it wasn't there, and I was like, how can this be right? I feel like this is maybe a glitch, or maybe they just haven't finished this portion of the game. So I really hope that they do change that, because I think being able to practice with each individual character's abilities is an important feature.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why it's not there right now.
Yeah, because I mean, I personally, in like fighting games and this one, I like to just kind of learn the stuff more, not in the practice mode, but more just like outplaying it.
Oh, see, I want to go to practice mode, because sometimes when you're in game and you just don't, things are moving so quickly, you often can't tell what something really does. So I'm one of those people that needs training mode.
So it's so well rounded. Like, I haven't found any or experienced any like glitches. Like it's like I hesitate to say it, but like it feels like one of the smoothest, especially for like a live service game, one of the smoothest launches we have seen in a very long time.
Oh yeah, as far
Like,
as
like even Helldivers like was so overloaded at its launch that it had a successful launch, the amount of people who wanted to play it, but they were overloaded the servers and not everybody could get in.
Yeah, I didn't
that
hear
was
about
not
that
a
with
problem with
Marvel
Marvel
Rivals.
Rivals.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe because they knew like, oh, we're working with a Marvel property here, this is gonna be popular.
So actually,
But-
the publisher, not the publisher, the developer behind Marvel Rivals, NetEase, I believe they're called. They're a Chinese company. I think they have previously handled the online versions in China for, I want to say, World of Warcraft.
Oh, okay.
And I think actually Overwatch in China.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think they have a lot of
They
previous
have the
experience. They've got the bandwidth.
Yeah.
They know how much they need per region. So I feel like they've got good experience there.
But I just feel like that's it's a weird thing to have to be a plus for a game release. Is like, hey, smooth ass launch, came out, no problems, and everybody was able to enjoy the game. That's great. That should be like the basic requirement.
It really should
But
be.
here we are parading it as a plus, and it is a big plus because, like I said, it's just been so nice to pick up a game, jump right in, immediately find a match, and have a great time.
Yeah. It's just nice to be able to play a fun game with your friends again.
It is.
Am I
It
right,
is.
fellow gamers?
It is. It's very nice to do that, and I felt like it was a weird, like, empty area. Like, we moved to so many different games in that time of like ones that we were just trying to play around and mess around with and like be consistent with, and it's nice. It's actually, like I was saying, I don't know if I said this on an episode or not, but like I feel like this year is going to be a big year kind of for more like co-op games again. We got Monster Hunter Wild. We have or like not necessarily like couch co-op, but like big friend group games like this. We got Marvel Rivals. We got Monster Hunter Wilds. we're going to have split fiction, different stuff like that coming. I think there's a whole lot of different flavors of that coming out this year. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun to have these big group games.
I would be a little surprised if we don't see another expansion or something to that extent for Helldivers 2 also. I feel like they've got the momentum, so there's got to be something happening.
Well, they especially have the momentum because yesterday it was announced that both Horizon Zero Dawn and Helldivers are getting film adaptations.
Oh, Helldivers is. Okay, the Horizon Zero Dawn one, I posted in the Discord. I was like, I'm going to make a prediction, guys. It will be bad.
That one I feel like is going to have a lot to live up to.
It's got a steep mountain to climb, you could say. But Helldivers, it's already basically a parody of something else that's already a parody. Yeah. So it can only be good, right? They've already got the framework.
They just have to translate the ridiculousness of the combat of the game onto film, and I mean it's going to be perfect. It's going to be just a dumb, fun action movie, just like the game is a dumb, fun shooting game.
Exactly.
It can't lose.
Well, it can't lose as long as they do actually lean into what Helldivers' true vibe is.
Yes.
I feel like if they try to make it gritty and realistic, it's not going to be. They have to stick with
that fun, and I think it's even a fun because I just recently rewatched Starship Troopers actually, and I think it's that movie is also kind of fun. It has those weird moments of almost feels like forced jovialness among people when it's this terrible thing happens, but hey, we're doing the thing for Earth,
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. All that stuff, exactly. I kind of feel like even though there's that, Starship Troopers is still has its serious moments, has its hard moments, its sad moments. I feel like Helldivers has to just go full tilt.
Oh yeah,
into just that offbeat zany sense of humor, or just morbid humor about the situation and what's going on in the movie.
I want to see large bugs explode. If there are not big bug explosions, don't call me.
And it's there's so much room there too, because Starship Troopers, yes, everybody's drawing the comparisons because there you fight bugs in Helldivers.
Because the comparison is very obviously there.
And you fight bugs in Starship Troopers, but Helldivers does have the automatons, which is the
robots,
the robot Terminator faction, and then there's the newly released in the latest update the Illuminate faction, which is another alien race that has come into the realm. There's it could be, is it going to be Helldivers 2 #1? The movie, then Helldivers 2, we take on the automatons. Is it going to be a 3 movie thing where they take on all these different factions all at once? I don't know, but each option excites me.
Well, if they're smart, they'll take the long-term route and break each of them into its own movie.
each one into its own trilogy.
Exactly. Yeah, the Helldivers trilogy.
Oh, speaking of movies, I know this is off topic, although I kind of feel like did we have any other thoughts on Marvel? Or
no.
we kind of feel with it?
The TLDR on Marvel Rivals is it's free.
Yes.
The battle pass is far less predatory than most and completely dismissible if you're not interested in it. Yep. The gameplay is great. It has the vibes of OG Overwatch, but with its own special twists here and there that make it really fun to play. So definitely pick up Marvel Rivals if you and your friend group are looking for that co-op online game to fill a space.
So good. So yeah, go play it. But what I was going to say before we exit out on all this stuff is that I started watching the Prime show. Oh, sorry. Secret Levels. The one that's based off of all the...
it came out.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Hang on. I got to catch up.
I've watched a few. I haven't watched... I've watched the first half of them. And again, they're only 10 to 15 episodes.
They're shorts.
Yeah, 10 to 15 minutes each. But
Did you already watch the Sifu one?
Yes. Very good.
Oh my God.
Sifu one was very good. It's episode 2.
Oh, Jesus.
The Sifu one was really cool.
Did you watch the Concord one?
Not yet. I have not made it to the Concord one, and I'm curious how that one's going to be.
Oh boy.
But then I did watch the New World one. The one for New World, which was that it's the MMO that Amazon Game Studios made. Oh. It's it's set in colonial, but fantasy.
I did not
kind
hear
of stuff
about
like
this.
that. They did a short. One of the shorts is based off of that, and it's very funny. It's you go to this island, you can't die in the game, so you just every time you die on your adventure, you just spawn back at the beach and then go again. But it's this big, muscled up, quasi dumb knight adventurer played by Schwarzenegger.
That's awesome.
It's hilarious.
He's Conan.
Yeah.
Conan's back.
It's so good. And so I really enjoyed that episode too. My favorite one probably so far has been the Space Marine 2 one, Warhammer.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty sweet.
Oh man, I know we were really excited about it, but it just completely fell off of my brain's radar. So I gotta
once
get
the
back
Game
in
Awards
there.
announced it, they were like, "Hey, this is coming." Everything else, or wherever it was, Summer Games Fest, maybe on that one.
I think it was Summer Games Fest.
They didn't. I don't feel like they pushed it a whole lot before it actually came out.
I feel like Prime is really bad about doing promos for their own stuff a lot of the time. They're not good at it.
One episode was very weird, and I do need you to see it so I can get your thoughts on it. But the Pac-Man episode is odd.
Well, look out for this to be a coming soon team chit chat. That's probably where we're going to talk about this.
That would be a good place to do that. But yeah, so check that out over on Prime. It's been a pretty fun show to get to try out, to get these little like glimpses into some different gaming worlds and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of fun. But with that, everybody, I think that concludes our first episode of 2025. We're glad you're still with us. Glad you're here to hang out for another year of video game fun and discussion. And we can't wait to have you back for each and every episode. But until then, we would love it if we hear from you. See if you've been playing Marvel Rivals. We would love to hear your thoughts. So send us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com. Comment below wherever you're listening to or watching the show. Join us over on our Discord server and chat along with us there. We would love to have you. But until the next episode, everybody, I'm one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined to my right, Rachel Mogan.
Adios.
We'll see you next time.